There is a thin divide between what is perceived as spiritual and paranormal, for they are forever intertwined throughout time. Traveling within the history of the world, we can find examples of spirituality that involves everything from magic, spirits, gods and goddesses, and seers or people said to be able to speak to the dead. We all have our own belief systems. We all have our own truths. So let us possibly bend those truths a bit with some insights and perspectives that may be a bit different than yours, or even give yourself validation for what you see as true. Come sit with myself and the best of the best in research, teaching, discovery, and practitioners of the day. My name is Bear Medicinewalker, and I welcome you to Spiritually Paranormal.
I can't hear. I can't hear anything.
All right, so I did all
Okay.
that for nothing. All
There
right.
you are. Now I can hear you.
Well, whatever. This is Holly Jenkins. We used to do, forget that first part. We used to be on Blog Talk Radio for quite a few years, actually, with the Wolf and the Bear Network. That's where it started. And yeah, a lot of history there. And now you're Holly Jenkins. So
Yep.
are you still, I mean, how do you want people to know Holly by your name, this name?
Oh,
By
I have been called so many things throughout the years, but most people know me by Waya now instead of and Holly. Either way.
Okay, well, I still will call you always Wolfbird, so that's the way I know you, because you've known you for so long. Right, I was sitting here this morning, and I was just going over, and I screwed up a couple things today. I didn't put the right format on the back of the time, because it said 7, and we're on at 8 for... You're 7 o'clock. I'm 8 o'clock, and UK is like 1 o'clock in the morning. So we just said, "Gee, I don't know. What are we going to talk about?" I said, "Gee, I don't know. We never used to have topics. We used to just start." So, you know, you've got had a lot. We all have had a lot going on over the past few years. So catch us up, because I know Ruth is here. And Victoria Smith, Christy Wilkinson is here. I got to put my eyes on. Monica, hi. Yeah, I know. I screwed up. I got my bike back on. Yeah, there's a lot of people here, and a lot of people that haven't met you either. So, hi, Kitty Johnson's here. Hey, how are you guys? Okay, so now I'll hand it to you. Go ahead.
Well, gosh, where do we even start? So back when we did Blog Talk Radio, I was married to a different Brit.
You brought it up. I did not.
Who was not a nice person whatsoever. You can attest to that one. And then that ended, thankfully. And then, golly, 8-9 years passed. And then another Brit came into sight, and I was like, no, not going down that road. I've been down that road. I'm not doing it again. But it was insane. We had been watching each other on TikTok for months, and we just like each other's content. He's a storyteller and a goofball. And one night I had a dream. And it was just him and I walking down a nature path, just sharing stories, sharing life, just sharing. And that dream went on all night long. I got up 2 or 3 times to go pee in the night and went right back to the dream. I woke up the next morning and I was like, oh, do I tell this man? I've never had a conversation with him. Do I tell him I had a dream about him? And then I don't want him to think, some pervy, oh, she had a dream. Oh. So I decided to tell him. And in that one message, I would tell him the whole story so he would know it wasn't anything perverted or anything. And just like the dream, we've been sharing ever since.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Coming up on our 1-year wedding anniversary.
Well, congratulations. That's awesome. Well, for those of you that are joining us that might not know, Holly is very intuitive. I don't like labels, so what we do, we don't really put labels on it, but she is got many hidden talents. I mean, you do artwork, I do artwork. That's kind of why we clicked when we did PTR. And we had did you ever stop and think about all the people we had on that show?
We had a lot of people. I
mean, I look at like phone lists and stuff and I'm like, wow, do I really know these people? Like, we really know these people.
That's right. That's crazy. Right. It is crazy.
Yeah. And then we brought Christy on.
Yeah.
And our really southern sister down in Georgia. And oh man, we used to have a hoot. But
yeah,
this
we did.
is more about like with Spiritually Paranormal, right? So
I have a fun story about that. That's recent.
Okay.
So I started a new job 3 weeks ago. And these people that I'm an office manager now for a small real estate firm, and they do specialize in luxury homes. Like their median sales price is over $2 million. So big, nice, fancy houses. You wouldn't think they're into any of this stuff now, would you?
Oh, yeah, they are.
So my first day, I'm sitting there at my desk working, and one of my bosses, he's sitting across in the room with me, and he looks up at me and he says, "Are you intuitive?" And I just knew what he meant, not just intuitive. And I said, "Oh, do you mean psychic?" And he says, yeah. And I said, very. And he said, I knew it. And he had a premonition about me starting that job and everything. So, and he had a friend growing up that was very psychic and would do all kinds of predictions with him all the time. And he just loves it. Then this is not where it ends. The next thing is the other boss. There's two men that are partners. Mm-hmm. Well, his assistant, she comes in and she says, "Oh, I just have to tell you something. Everybody has their thing. She says, for me, my favorite thing is watching paranormal shows." Now, they don't know me. They don't really know who I am. They have no idea. They don't know my history. They don't know I'm that kind of person. And and she comes in the office quite often, and she'll say every day, "Can I ask you something? Can I ask you a question?" And then
it's crazy. And they always find you. They do. People, I remember too, like with the crystals, you brought up the crystals. We talk about crystals a lot here. With yeah, I got mine. I got bigger ones.
I have them everywhere.
Here, how's this one?
I've got more around here. I've got
them all over the house. Holly used to go out and actually dig for them.
We did just this last year.
Did you again?
Mm-hmm. I took Robert crystal digging, only I was digging and he was snatching my crystals and doing TikTok videos with my crystals. I'm like, if you don't put those crystals down and get to digging, I'm going to beat you.
But that's the whole thing, is you used to go out to the mines and dig for them. And
still do.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have not done that. I haven't actually.
This is actually one of those crystals that came from the crystal mine.
That's huge.
I know. I know. And it's not even the biggest one I have. I have more.
Oh, I'm sure. Look at that. That's so clear too.
Oh, it is. And
this isn't so they know where you went. Tell them where you're at.
My favorite crystal mine is Sweet Surrender Crystal Mine in Mount Ida, Tennessee. Arkansas, sorry. Tennessee. My daughter and I, we took the boys down.
Yeah, Grandma.
Yeah,
Grandma.
The year before, 2021, we went to North Carolina and went to a mine that had lots of different kinds of crystals, amethyst and all sorts. I would never go back.
Really?
It was a long drive, and it's like they mined that mine a lot, and they took everything out of it and just left you nuggets, little tiny pieces.
Yeah, that's a long way to go for a little bit of work.
Yeah, a whole lot of work all day long digging in the dirt only to find a chip of something. That's all we found. All of us were digging the whole day. Yeah, a chip. Not anything you could eat, not even a point, just chips.
That's crazy. Well, tell everybody a little bit about what you do with your crystals.
What do I not do with my crystals?
Well, behave. Okay, tell them what you do with the crystals. Do you use them for healing? Because everybody's always asking us, and I have a go-to over in the UK, Kelly Greenaway, who's been on the show, and she's a good friend of mine. She gets amazing stuff that she gets. I'm not out looking anymore. I just go to her because it's physically I've been unable to do it, and I'm just gaining my physicalities back, so I'm feeling good. So I'll be getting out, but that's where I go. So yeah. I know what I do with my crystals. I
do all kinds of things. Sometimes I will meditate with them. I will sleep with them. And there's not any given day you might not find me with crystals in my bra, especially because, women's clothes don't have pockets most of the time. So where do you need to put them? And I like them to be up against my skin. Yep. And it just depends on what's going on that day and what I feel drawn toward of what I'm going to grab. Like this is a smoky quartz right here. And that's got some really cool stuff that you can see in that one. And now I feel like this is more of an emotional stone for me. This is a regular quartz, but it's got a lot of rainbow features in it. This is selenite. It's an angel communicator.
Also
selenite is really good that if somebody say, I've had friends that have gone into the hospital and doctors could not figure out what was wrong with them. Take a piece of selenite with you, put it in your pocket, keep it on your person. When you go to the doctor, and what is hidden will be revealed.
Well, I used it over the years for my back because my back was so bad. And then I got a huge quartz. It's like that. And Carrie had sent it to me. And I wound up sleeping with that thing for probably 4 months. And it really did help stuff. And I don't think people really get how much it can help.
Right. Well, as a rule, I keep crystals under my bed. I have my big clusters, and they are under my bed lined up with how I sleep so that I'm always on top of them as well. From time to time, I take them out and let them get some sunlight or some moonlight. Some of them like the sun. Some of them prefer the moon. And
they talk to you, though. They talk to us.
And they do talk to you.
And this is something I've been trying to get telling people that have been watching the shows when we talk about the crystals and things, and how someone will say, oh, you need to have jet, or you need to have labradorite, or you need to have this or that, and it means it'll do that or this. And I've told them a million times that doesn't always mean that's what it's going to work for you.
Right
Because I kind of look at them like I have multiple. Carnelian has always been one of my go-tos. So I have different kinds of carnelian. I have skulls, I have spheres, I have, the big things here, but they draw to me. So I actually use those for me for protection and balance. So it's not always about what's written in the book that, oh yeah, this is what, yeah, that could be the main thing, but it doesn't mean it's the only thing.
I agree 100%. That's what I always tell people. If you can get to a metaphysical store that sells stones, go to that store with whatever it is that you have in mind that you need help with and pick up every stone. Touch every single one of them. The one that is meant to help you with that problem will not leave your hand. You'll put it down, you'll pick it right back up. In fact, mostly you won't even want to put it down. You'll keep carrying that around. Buy that stone. I don't care what it is, I don't care what any of the books say.
You can find it out in a river or a lake or on the
Yeah.
ground. If it's calling to
Oh
you.
yeah, I've got tons of hagstones as well.
Oh, those are cool.
I love finding hagstones. Anytime I'm at a river, I'm going to grab a hagstone, and this is a wishing stone.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool.
The wishing stones are these stones that have this line right through them.
Okay.
Those are wishing stones.
That's really nice.
I absolutely love those. There's all kinds of stuff up there anyway. I can't reach all the way back. There's tons of crystals up there. I'm surrounded by crystals all the time because I have them in every room of the house. Every room.
Oh, okay. So this year, back in October, I was kind of told through meditation and stuff that this year was going to be about healing and balance for a lot of people. And one of the main things, I'm going to take these glasses off. One of the main things that I keep seeing and hearing from people is about how, and I don't want to use the word woke. It's like people that are into spirituality or getting into spirituality, they're like ramping up with what they can sense. But then some days they're like really unbalanced because there's so much energy out there, which, it didn't help popping in the new year right into Mercury retrograde, and that wolf full moon was like, okay. So what do you suggest, or what recommendations do you have for people that are struggling with it a little bit?
Grounding is so important. It's people will just push that to the side and be like, oh yeah, grounding, yeah. Grounding is so extremely important. And smudging your space. Hold on. I have my bag right here. This whole bag is full of Palo Santo. And I have a little cauldron up there on top of my bookcase that has half burned sticks. And even my grandson, just the other day, he was in my bedroom. He was looking over at my closet. He said, and I said, "What's the matter, Leo?" And he says, "You won't believe me if I tell you." I said, "Try me." He is a very sensitive. He's a very sensitive one. He said, "There's something in your closet." And I said, "No, I just cleaned it out. There's nothing in there, I promise." And he just kept looking, and I know it was bothering him. So, you don't, especially children, you don't discount what they feel.
Right.
So I said, "Do you want to smudge?" He said, "Yes." So I lit him a stick and I sent him on his way. He smudged the closet. Then he went downstairs and smudged the whole downstairs, smudged upstairs, then smudged me, smudged his mama, smudged Robert, smudged his brother. He cleared it.
It's a different feeling. I try to do it a couple times a week, and then I had somebody stop over last Saturday, and I lit white sage. Oh, there you go. That's a bad boy. That was a bad boy. I look at that, and who wanted that, don't you?
Well, they can't have it.
No, well, they can't. Yeah, Cynthia wanted it.
Yeah.
She was like, "Dad ain't going nowhere." I said, "No, you've stolen enough stuff out of the house." No, but smudging is just, I think some people get it a little bit, but it really does clear the air. And I use white sage, tobacco, and lavender when I do it. And sometimes I use the wood that you have as well to add to it. And I actually hadn't done it in about a week just because I've been busy. And after I smudged, and actually the gal that was here, it was like we sat down and it was just like, yeah, it's cool now. We can just kind of sit here and zone. And it does. It clears the whole atmosphere into something different. And
here's another thing. Cleanse your crystals as well. They need it often. They need it on a regular basis. Everything is energy, and we emit energy all day long everywhere we go. And if we don't ever clear that energy out of the house, it all piles up and eventually becomes so heavy that it's not us, it's the energy that we have created that we're sitting in. And especially if you've been stressed out, worried about something, or if you've been sick, that is some really bad, yucky energy that definitely needs to be cleared out. So you need to smudge and cleanse as often as you feel you need to.
Well, that's also like, I believe, anyway, my belief is a lot of places that are known to be haunted, I think some of them have that residual energy of crap that happened around it or on the land or in the home or in the building. And I think it absorbs it. And if you don't get that cleansed out, I don't think it'll go away. I kind of have, I'm going to ask you this. This is actually been bugging me a little bit. You know how people go in on the shows, right? They go in and they investigate, and I'm not talking about all of them because some of them do it the proper way. Sean investigates the proper way with respect and integrity. But then you'll get these people that go in and it'll be like one of the big ones that first started, right? And a lot of ego there, and he'll be like, we're going to send you to the other side, right?
Oh, good Lord.
All that, right? And then next thing you know, next month, another team from another show is in the same location doing the same thing.
Right.
And I'm sitting here and it really didn't dawn on me a lot. I mean, there's a few of them that, like I said, have a lot of integrity. Katrina Weidman, I've talked to her on the show before, and people like that, I mean, they're respectful when they go in. But I'm sorry, if they don't want to leave, they don't leave.
They're not scared of some crystals. They're not afraid of some smudge. They're not running from it. No.
And I do get sometimes when some of them are like, it's an impact, like they had a heart attack and just died, or they were in a car accident and they just died. I can sense and have felt, and I'm sure you have as well, that they're kind of lingering because they're kind of not sure what happened. And I feel like it's almost like it's when they say unfinished business, it's like, what happened, right?
Right.
I just started laughing every time I see it now. It's like, go to the light.
Whatever. They already know where the light is, and if they want to go there, they're going to go there. They don't need you to tell them to go, and they're not going to go because you told them to go. I don't care how much holy water you sprinkle or spray. I don't care how big your crystal is or how big your smudge stick is. If they don't want to go, they're not going to go.
Yeah, 100%. And I just can't anymore. I just sit there sometimes and I think, wow, really? Like, really?
Yeah.
Because they're not really gone. I was talking to my daughter last time she was up and we were watching a crime show. And I don't know if this has happened to you before. This would be good for me to ask. I'm watching the crime show and I'm hearing in my head the people that were killed. Like, I'm hearing them talk to me in my head. And Taylor goes, that's really weird, Mom. You're that's not right. And I said, no, it doesn't matter. I said, I can even watch an investigation that somebody does. It can be 2 weeks later. It can be a year later. I said, I still can hear who's involved with it.
Right.
That drives me a little crazy.
Right. Yeah. My husband and I, we were watching a show not before last, and I don't remember what it's called, but it's fairly new. And it was these young children that were ghost hunters, but they were made to be ghost hunters because the adults couldn't do the things that they could do, and they were more treating them like slave labor. They weren't being treated well and all that. Anyway, but I said, oh, I can't watch this. I can't. This is too real for me. This is stuff I have experienced, and especially right before bed. I could watch it in the afternoon, but not right before bed because that's going to leave too much energy with me.
But it comes through, right? I mean,
yeah, it does.
It's like, yeah, oh yeah. And Taylor's like, Mom, do you have to say that? I mean, like, Mom, really? It's like, don't ruin the show for me. I go, I'm just telling you, that's what they're saying. And it just strikes me as odd. And over all the years, like from BTR on, so much has changed with me, and I know it's changed with you as well. And I had a really lousy surgery in 2019, and I had cardiac events that didn't go well 3 times. And I walked down a hallway. No bright light, no nothing. I just walked down a hallway. There was a door. I could hear the people on the door, and there was a big guy standing there waiting at the end of the hallway for me. And I walked up and goes, "Where do you think you're going?" And it was St. Francis, and who I've worked with since I've been a kid. And he says, "You're not going in there." I go, "Yeah, I'm going to see my pup. I want to go see my pup and my cat that just died." Right?
Yeah.
He says, "They're fine. Go back." So he turned me around, shoved me, and I went back 2 more times. And the last time he said to me, "You are so stubborn." He says, "They told me you were bullheaded, but I didn't know you'd be this bullheaded." And he turned around and said, "Go back," right? And ever since then, everything's ramped up. I mean, everything's ramped up. Before I do Tuesday streams, 3 or 4 days before time, just on the streams, not even an hour reading, I got people like showing up when I get out of the shower or yelling in my ear next to me because the people they want to communicate are going to be. I'm like, God, that's crazy.
Well, you're meant to deliver those messages. And I was just telling the lady at work the other day, I said, if they want us to get a message across, they will not leave you alone until you give that message. So it doesn't matter if you're at the grocery store and you feel called to tell somebody something, you don't know that person or how they're going to react. That spirit doesn't care. They're gonna continue to badger you until you deliver the message. So it's like we almost don't even have a choice. We have to do it.
Yeah, it is actually. We don't have a choice, and that's something I've come to realize. We have the power to push them back and say we need our space,
right?
But when they want to come and present and it's a reason for it, they don't stop. And I don't think
they don't care. They don't care if you're tired. They don't care if you got things to do. They don't care if you're scared. They will persist until you deliver the message.
Okay, now here's something that's been happened to me 3 nights in a row this past week. And another friend of mine online over in the UK brought it up because she had the same thing happening to her. And I'm like, what the heck? Okay, so 1:30 in the morning the first night, and I had actually finally fallen asleep. I hear bam, bam, bam on the wall.
Uh-oh.
And I sat up and I looked around. I thought, oh, maybe the cops are at the door. Maybe they're letting us slip on a light. Look out. Nope, nobody. No prints in the snow. And I'm like, that's really kind of weird. And I thought, what was that? And so I went back to bed and was just getting ready to shut the light off again. And it was bam, bam, bam on the wall again, but it was a different wall. Not here, like on the front end of the house. And I'm like, okay, now I'm really getting freaked out because I'm thinking, what if somebody busted into the house, right? Don't have a dog anymore. Cat's 20 years old. You have to light her dynamite under her. She won't wake up. But the birds started acting squirrely. And I thought, because they were asleep already. And I'm thinking, okay. And I'm looking over at my 30-30 in the corner. It's in the case. And I'm thinking, do I need to maybe get a gun, even though it wasn't loaded, but should I it really scared the crap out of me, right?
Right.
So then I'm I turned the light on, looked in the hallway, turned the hallway light on, looked in the bathroom, turned that light on, went to the laundry room, turned that light on, and I hear bang, bang, bang again. And it was all the way up to the front of the house. And I was like, okay, this is really freaking me out. The hair was standing up. Nothing outside, nothing in the house. And I thought, this is just too weird. And I said, well, whoever it is, you got to quit because I got to sleep. Next day, same thing, only it started on a different wall. Bam, bam, bam. And it went through 3 times. The second night, I could hear people talking. And I know you've had this happen to you. And you walk into the room where you think you're hearing the talking and it moves to another room.
Right.
Okay. And then I thought, well, maybe it's cops outside again, right? Cops outside talking, right? Flipped all the outside lights on. So they banged again, different walls 3 times. I went to the kitchen and I put my hood light on my stove and I left that on and I left the laundry room light on. And I put my computer screen light up because I was scared to death. I mean, it really scared me because I didn't understand it. So it happened again last night. And I got up and I was kind of mad. And I said, okay, whoever this is, whatever you're doing, I hear you, but I don't know what you want.
I'm going to tell you.
I even crawled up in the attic to make sure we didn't have a coon somehow get up. And
First of all, I'm told that you need to hang rosemary at your headboard.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what that's going to do, but you need to put the rosemary at your headboard. Okay. Some that you have. Have you grown in some?
No, I haven't. This no, not this year. I've got dried fresh though.
That's okay. Good. Put that at your headboard. And some spirits, I had this happen a lot when I lived in Illinois in that one house. Oh my gosh. So sometimes spirits are just roaming spirits. They just passing through. When they come near energy like ours that they know, can see and sense, that's like a little game. Oh, look, I have a new playmate. I have a new friend. Let's see how crazy I can make her. Just got to let it go, ignore it, and it will pass in probably next 2 or 3 days. And I feel like it's male energy, and it feels to me like it's a young male. Like, not, I want to say 18, something around that area. It's not even
I could
much
feel
older
the
than
male energy, but like I said, the first couple nights, it really scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
And then last night I got up, I said, I don't know what you're playing at, but I'm over it. Okay.
It's kind of like trick or treat to them.
Yeah. And I went through and smudged the house. I smudged the house. And then I got up this morning and I was like, I better go look at that. And I did. I crawled up into the attic, into the crawl, to make sure there were no coons that had fallen down in between the walls.
Put some pebbles, something like this, a pebble on your front porch. There's a step down.
Yep.
Put them like just 3 or 4 right there, and watch what happens.
Okay.
They're either going to take 1 or 2, or they're going to bring you some more.
Well, I don't like the, people, right? The people. And I won't say,
what people is that? What?
Don't even say their name. The last time I did, I had nothing but shenanigans for 2 months. And Patty.
What? I don't understand what kind of people you're talking about. I don't understand.
Patty Stone, right? They're her favorite people. And when she moved back to Washington State, but while she was here, it was like, look,
all over the place.
I go, don't show them to me. I don't want to show them. So yeah, not a fan of them because they've and you guys, you'll have to ask Holly. If Holly wants to tell you what it is, she can. I'm not attracting him in my house again. we are one and the same, really. And I can just tell them, or I can just say, Bear's a little bored. No, Bear's not bored. Bear's not bored. Bear
wants to play a game. Bear wants to play a game with you guys.
No, thank you. I'll pass.
They love taking things.
Oh yeah.
And putting them in different places and hiding them from you, and then suddenly just reappearing in the weirdest places ever.
Yeah, last month I was looking for something, and we have been. I actually posted something, or somebody had asked me about them, and I went in to get something that I knew that's where I put it, and it wasn't there. And I'm like, okay. And I looked for 3 days. I ripped the house apart. Taylor goes, Mom, you'll find it. You probably stuck it somewhere you didn't know. You know where I found it? Exactly where I left it. So yeah, I don't play with them.
But they love to play with you, whether you want to play with them or not.
Yeah, well, forget it. You guys can
it's the same people that I sing to find all those 4-leaf clovers that I find.
Oh, shut up, you and your 4-leaf. This girl, this woman, this person, this wolf can go around and like bend down and, oh, look, a 4-leaf clover. And she'll have a whole bouquet of them. And the rest of us would be sitting there like, I don't even see one.
So I have a news story about that. So Robert and I, in November, we went to the Smoky Mountains. You know, it's nearly wintertime. It was the end of November. And we climbed up the top of the mountain to Klingman's Dome. Now, if you've never been there, it's really high and it's far up there. So there's not a whole lot up there. And I said, there were patches of clover along the path on the way. And I said, I'm going to find a 4-leaf clover up on this mountain. He said, oh, yeah, okay, good luck in November.
Oh,
and I did. I have a picture of me holding that 4-leaf clover. He said, only you is going to find one at the top of the mountain in the wintertime. I said, I knew it was here.
I think you make them grow and you just like, they
That's
sing
right.
out to you
I sprinkle the magic.
Or talk to those people that we don't want to mention their names.
They love it when you sing to them. They will definitely show you where they are.
They wouldn't like it if I sang to them. Yeah, no,
Have you seen my latest house companion?
No.
I don't know if you've seen pictures. Hold on. Love! Send Ghost in. Oh, his name is Ghost.
Oh, lovely.
Here he comes. 2 seconds. What's he doing? My husband is the king of piddle farting. I tell him that all the time. Robert! Here he comes. Robert!
I downsized. I lost Tux a couple weeks back. The one I brought in from outside. He was with me 3 years.
Ghost in.
Kidney failure.
Where's Ghost?
Hi, Robert. We don't want to see you. We want to see Ghost.
Oh, come on, let's go. Ghost. Come on, Ghost. Here you go. Come here. Come here. Up.
Oh, you got a wolf. Oh, you got a wolf. Oh, wow. Beautiful.
Come here, Ghost. Come on.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Give me a treat and I'll get him up here.
I miss Spoon.
This dog is the most rotten dog. Like when I come home, the grandkids want attention. He doesn't want anybody to have attention but him. Oh, come on, up.
Is he, what is he? Is he wolf or is he a Malamute?
No, he is husky.
Oh, a husky. Oh, that fits with you.
Siberian husky.
Because they're you know what, crazy. My brother used to have them. They're crazy dogs.
He is a crazy dog.
He's beautiful, though. Look at that. He looks like a wolf.
He does.
Yeah, he looks like a Malamute wolf more than a Siberian. That face, the way he's marked, that's beautiful. So does he tell you when things are in the room?
Not really. No, he's too crazy.
Well,
he's all over the place.
Well, he's still
you saw that. I remember
he's
that.
Just turned a year old.
Oh, geez. You got 2 more years of baby stuff with him.
Yeah.
You had. Was it your basement at the house that you had those video cam where you had some black shadow running down in your basement, wasn't it? Or
that was in the attic. That was in the attic.
Did you ever figure that one out?
Nope. I left it alone. I smudged real good and just left it alone. Said, yeah, we're not doing that.
For everybody listening, I mean, I just look back when we had a blast. We talked about everything. We talked about well, this is a good thing to bring up again too, I guess. The spirituality end of things, the way things are now in the world. Don't you think well, no, I'll just ask you, and I won't say don't you think. How do you think they are right now?
People are waking up all over the place. I was just explaining this earlier because I have predicted for years. I predicted this switcheroo that's going on right now. where you basically, there's two sets of people, two kinds of people. You've got the people that don't care about anybody but themselves, full of greed, and they do a lot of things that harm others, harm the earth, harm everybody, right? Just for their own greed. Then you have those people that try to do their best to do the right thing. They care about others. They're not greedy at all, but they're always struggling. And those other people, the greedy ones, things just kind of just fall in their lap and they just get whatever they want. Well, there's a switcheroo, and that's where we are right now. People are waking up and they're seeing what's really going on, and so they're pulling back. And like, I don't know if you've been following the chicken feed thing, the things that are going on with chickens right now, the chicken feed.
Oh yeah, the bird flu or whatever, and all these.
No, it's about the feed.
Oh.
Okay, so it's a long story, but Land of Lakes is the biggest egg producer in the country. Mm-hmm. They own Purina.
Oh, really?
Purina has chicken feed that is in Tractor Supply. That most people that have chickens, they go to Tractor Supply because the co-ops in your town, they close by 5:00 and they're only open for a couple hours on Saturday, so it's hard to get to them. So they'll go to Tractor Supply and buy that feed. They trust Tractor Supply. The Tractor Supply has nothing to do with this, by the way. It's Purina that produces it. Well, the only market they don't have their foot in is the cage-free market. Last August and September, they purchased this land and started building these facilities for cage-free birds to get into that market. Suddenly, everybody's chickens stopped laying eggs.
Oh!
And they're doing it during the wintertime because a lot of chickens slow down or sometimes stop during the winter so it won't be caught. But if they can slow the production of eggs from everybody that does cage free, they can take that market. And
I paid $10 for 24 eggs.
We have 16 chickens, and we started getting 1 or 2 a day, or sometimes 0. That's crazy. It's been fair weather still. It's not real cold. We've only had 2 little tiny cold snaps, and our chickens have been laying eggs all through all of this up until probably about September is when it really slowed down.
Wow.
So we just switched food to a local sourced feed this week. So we're going to watch and see how many eggs we get. And they say usually about a week into it, you'll start getting eggs again. But get this. So get this. One of the 3rd largest egg producers in the country, they had a fire just, I don't know if it was Monday or Tuesday. Monday, they had a fire, knocked out their whole farm, millions of chickens gone.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Who knows if it's connected? I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that's just kind of weird.
Well, spiritually right now, and Joseph Amoroso, who's in group with us on the Wolf and the Bear Network. Anybody that's listening to this in the future, you go on Facebook, look for the Wolf and Bear Network, and you can get added to the group. Joe's in there, and he does a lot. He had something very similar happen to him like I did when I had my surgery. His was about 10 years ago. And I was kind of losing my marbles a little bit with some stuff that I kept seeing and I kept hearing. And, it's not something you can talk to everybody about that would understand it unless they kind of know what we do, right?
Right.
Because it sounds like, get the padded room ready. So I actually got hold of him and I said, yeah, no smart comments. I hear it already. I said to him, I keep seeing this vision of looking up at the night sky and it's dark and you can see all the stars because that's where I live. I don't have city lights, right? And I says, but it's like, then you'll see a pop of light, like boom, right? And it'll go back into the dark and then you'll see boom again. And I said, every time I look up at the sky, I'm seeing this, but what I'm seeing coming out of them is what we would call the divine, like angels or I don't know, whatever you want to call them. Again, I don't like labels, but it's like it's like a spiritual war going on. It's like they're coming in at night so that the darkness doesn't see, or the negatives don't see them come in, but people can literally, and I know everybody's gonna say, oh my God, Bear's lost her mind, but it's like you can see them because we
They
see
said that a
them.
long time ago, so it's nothing new.
Well, I know, but you know what I'm saying. So have you heard stuff about, or meditated? Have you heard stuff like that?
Yes, yes. Well, there's all kinds of things that people are saying right now. All the different alien species are coming in, and they're there to help and support and blah 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 blah. But it is kind of a spiritual war, and the more and more people are waking up and seeing the truth, they are like, people are gonna pull their money. They're not gonna buy Purina anymore. You know what I mean? They're gonna put a stop to it. Purina will at some point probably go down, and they're not going to be the only ones. There's going to be more, and people are just seeing the truth, and it is more than just the physical thing of you're fucking with our food, you're messing with our livelihood. It is spiritually, like they're trying to make us unalive.
Yeah.
Yeah. For their greed, for their own greed.
Yeah. I just seriously think, with all the stuff that's going on negatively, I said this to somebody the other day, and they just looked at me and they said, you're probably right. I think, this is my belief, that women need to step into their power and tell these men, not all of them, I'll say that right now, not all the men, but to take over places of power, because I think the greed is just so bad, unless you get like.
But then you've also got some of those greedy women out there. It's more of finding someone of balance that isn't full of the greed and full of that just me energy, that is actually someone that is wanting to help everyone, help the whole world, not just take and fill their pockets.
And that is what's going on. And I don't like the former president. I'm not going to get into that, but I do think he pulled some rugs off of some things that needed to be.
This is my take on it. This is my take on that. A little quick one is, when he came into power, it was, are you joking? And everybody was, a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people were like, can it get any worse? And then they're like, oh yeah, because we've got worse coming. And that's where we are now. Like, how ridiculous is it? And how is that still in power? How I'm at a loss for words. It is beyond ridiculous and in our face every day, but nothing is done about it.
I don't understand. I watch the news maybe once every other week.
I don't watch it at all.
Well, the young man that got killed in January, when they put that out, the video out, I said, they're telling people, oh, you shouldn't watch it. You shouldn't. You know what? I think we all need to watch it, because it all needs to stop, and we need to do something about it. And this is bullshit, because we've been dealing with it for how many years? I saw it back in the 60s in Detroit growing up during the riots.
We've been living with this and dealing with it actually for our whole lifetime.
Yes. Absolutely.
But it's getting so ridiculous, and the whole world is waking up, and it's being pointed out, and they're like, see, can you see? And people are actually opening out their eyes. What scares me is that also the amount of people that still don't see.
Oh, that's really
those people scare the crap out of me. It's like, how are you that blind? How are you that stupid?
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to take to balance. So basically what I've been doing myself and telling people is, you need to start with your circle, your sacred circle, who you keep close to you, the things that you keep close to you, the people, friends, family, doesn't matter. But you have to start there, and you have to start moving things. And maybe it doesn't serve you right now, so you need to move it to the outside. Doesn't mean you're wishing them bad. It just means you're making room for some positives to come in. And I think that we all, as people that are aware, I guess would be a way to put it, or more, I don't like the word woke. I don't like the word awake. More sensitive, I guess, because
Right.
Everybody has the ability to do what we can do. Everybody
Exactly.
has that ability. It's whether you open that door to allow it. And
Right.
because they start crushing it down when you're little kids saying, oh yeah, I see, like talking to their
I
imaginary
think more and
friend.
more people are going to start seeing spirits and seeing the messages, and there's already more and more people seeing the angel numbers and all of this and looking into it. So many things are reoccurring again and again that's in their face, and it's so blatant that they can't ignore it anymore.
Well, I can't see how it can't affect somebody spiritually at all. I cannot. I just cannot. And it is a struggle some days. I've been pretty good. Like I said, most of the time though, I stay away from news.
Right. You have to.
Yeah,
Because the majority of it's fake. What's on TV, what's on the mainstream, is what they want us to believe.
Yep.
Which is a load of shit. It's not the truth.
Yep.
You can't have little pieces of truth in it, but it's not the truth.
They're all like want you to see their world, like how they want you to see it, and it's almost like a control. But I kind of laughed a little bit because I saw a poll online the other day. I don't remember if it was Newsweek that put it up. It was one of the big magazines that still sells as a magazine, and they put a survey up about church, religion, church, and they said it's 80% of the people are beginning to walk away from churches and turn to more of their own spiritual path.
Yep.
And for me, the way I look at it, because I grew up Catholic and I was in Catholic school, I had a lot of friends who were really good people that were nuns and priests that throughout my life, but I saw the other kind too. And I just, not only the priests, but all these send me money and I'll make sure your prayer goes to Creator God. I'm like, wow, how dumb of a pitch is that? Like, seriously?
Yeah.
So people are kind of waking up, and they said walking away from that. So I have hope that, I don't know, do you think we'll see it in our lifetime?
We will. We just have to keep spreading the word. We can't have to keep doing what we're doing, speaking our truth and being authentic, staying true to ourselves, and it will just snowballs, and it goes on to the next person. Then someone else starts speaking their truth and starts doing messages like we do and putting that information out there, and the next person does it and the next person, and it will spread even more. We'll see it in the next 6 years.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
I worry for our kids. I worry for people's grandkids right now.
Yeah.
It's like they don't even. Taylor's very astute and aware of what's going on around her, but I see some of her friends even and that age group, and they don't know what's hitting them. They just don't know what side to like. And then I'll get calls from my daughter, and she'll say, hey Mom, could you put a prayer out for so and so, or could you add them? So I know they're feeling it like everybody else is. It's just throwing a lot of people off balance. So
did you see my prediction for February that I made today? I do the predictions for the whole year, a year in advance. So I haven't done 2024 yet, but that'll be coming soon. So last year I did a prediction for all of these months for this year. And February is at peace February, because we're starting to find our peace, find our balance. What 2020, 2021, 2022 did was it showed us what doesn't matter anymore.
Yep.
It taught us that, okay, that can go, all of that can go, none of this matters. This is what matters. This is what I'm going to focus on. And by getting rid of all that crap, all those beliefs, all those mindsets, all this bullshit, then we do find our peace and our balance. And more people are waking up and finding that by doing those things.
Well, I think it's really super important important that people allow themselves also to heal. We have to open to that.
It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight.
Well, I don't know if you saw when I told everybody, but I haven't put it out in written word. But I kind of had something that happened, and I'm feeling pretty good actually. Up until just before Christmas, I've had 2 surgeries on my back. And although they took a lot of the pain away from the muscle spasm in the upper back by doing what they had to do, I still, from like my waist down, I couldn't feel my legs. They were nothing but pain, nerve pain. I can't drive anymore because I couldn't feel my legs. I actually, last time I drove, I put my truck through the front of the shed. So I couldn't move my feet. I couldn't feel them to move them. So, and I was pretty hunched over, and you know, it's a lot. It's just a lot. They had me on medication. Half my hair fell out. You know, and it was like, 4 months or 4 years of that. Now it's starting to come back in, but
collagen peptides, biotin, bone broth.
I do all that stuff.
This oil. Which way did it go?
There it
this
is.
Oil right here. That is what has helped me the most, is all of those things. I do it on a daily. Like, look at this, Bear. I used to take 1 pill a day, 1 tiny little pill every day. And now, look at this. This is what I take every day.
Mine are next to mine are all vitamins and probiotics and that kind of stuff, and calcium and magnesium.
Right. When I got put in the hospital, they had to wheel me in. I couldn't walk in. They had to wheel me in. I had COVID, pneumonia, and sepsis. I nearly died. The doctor, I knew it was serious when the doctor came in and says, "Do you want us to do everything we can to save you?" I was like, "Oh, wait, what?" It's what? And I nearly said no. I really sat in that question for a moment because I was so tired of fighting.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
COVID sucked. Yeah. I had everything you had except breathing. And my breathing was only okay because I had just come out of the hospital of having back surgery. I had so many antibiotics and rejection meds for the pieces they put in me and stuff that
in the hospital, they did not give me one thing that was healthy. The food wasn't healthy. They barely gave me anything to drink, and there was no vitamins. There were no minerals. It was just drugs they were trying to give me, and which caused even more problems. So I still have a whole lot of problems that I have to now take all of these freaking pills. There's 26 pills in this that I have to take every day.
I'm down to 1. I take 2 of these a night. That's it. I've got myself pulled off of everything. But what happened was, and I was constantly in pain. So I had gotten to that point again where in 2019, when I did have that surgery, I didn't care if I came out of it or not. I really didn't. And I had my come to Jesus moment, and I said, you know what? I just take me, and that's what it tried to do. So, you know, they listened. The second surgery, I did let them do that. So, but I still haven't felt good. I mean, I couldn't even hardly walk. I can't. If I go to the store, I have to go to a small grocery store.
Now I have to smear this on myself every day as well.
I got that too. Yeah, I got that too.
It looks great, however. This is fabulous, but I have to put it on myself every day because I hurt every day.
Okay, well, then this is what you need to hear, and this is why I'm going to tell everybody again. So for those of you that have heard it that are in the chat here, I apologize, but you're going to hear it again.
That one over and over again.
The kids came up on Thursday before Christmas because we were having that huge snowstorm that was supposed to come in. It was supposed to be bad. So they wanted to get up here because it's a 3-hour drive for them, and their grandmother's up here. So they wanted to make sure they were here. So they came in Thursday night. I was the same. I have to take a couple naps a day. I'm laying down. I can't stand up for long. I can't sit for long. Whole 9 yards. So, but it was normal. Nothing out of normal. I sat up with them. Excuse me, I got hiccups again. Sat with them. We all went to bed at 9:30 that night. We got up the next day, which was Friday. I had to go to the bank. They wanted to pick some stuff up from Walmart. So they took me to the bank. I got back in and I just waited while they ran around Walmart because I can't do it. I just couldn't do it. It's just too much walking and it's just bad. So we came back and we just it was a nice night. We sat, we had dinner, we talked, we laughed, we watched some stuff on TV. David went to bed because he was exhausted because he's a roofer. He's like a supervisor for roofing commercial buildings. So he's out in the weather all the time. So Tay and I went to bed probably about 11. So I went to bed, it was fine. Good night. Just took my pill that I always take at night for the nerves and went to bed, went to sleep. I woke up about 8:30 in the morning. I couldn't move. Couldn't move. Like all the way from my neck into my shoulders, all the way down my back to my feet. Anytime I tried to move, all I did was scream. Everything was just seized up. Dave and Tay came running in. What's the matter? What's the matter? I can't move. They had to help me get up to go to the bathroom, lift the toilet up for me, and Tay had to help me sit because I had to pee. Everybody's got to pee after a night, right? I got up. They had to help me back to bed. I laid on the bed. I said, go to your grandmother's like you planned. And they said, well, we don't want to leave you like this. I go, well, it doesn't matter because there's nothing you can do. And I'd rather not have people around when I'm in that much pain. Yeah. So they left. They came back about 5:30, and then I hadn't changed. They got me back up to pee again, filled up my water, made sure my phone was charged and next to me, and I sent them to their godson's house. He's like 1.5 for Christmas. So they live about 15, 20 minutes down the road. So I said, go. If I need you, I'll call you. You're not that far. So they left, and it was about 11, a little after 11, and I was just sitting there. I didn't have TV on, didn't have computer on, didn't have music on, nothing. I laid there all day, and I said, I can't do this again. I just cannot go through this again. And I was hurting so bad, and I didn't have anything to take, and it's Christmas. So, so I laid there, and I cried myself basically to sleep. I woke up at 1:20 in the morning. And just before that, that in-between spot you get between dreaming or deep REM or awake? Right. That's where I found myself. And I was in this like auditorium or a gymnasium kind of a place. And they had tables that were black from one wall all the way to the other. And each one had a letter on them. And everybody was lining up in these letters, right? And I got up to the front and they had these like boxes, like index cards, like you would use, put index cards, the old library cards, right? And I said, why isn't my card here? I was pissed. I said, why don't I have a card here? And I'm like rifle through it. And I hear, because you're not allowing yourself to heal. You don't have a card. You're not, go away. And I'm like, what? And I looked up and it was a mentor of mine who died in 2004. And she's always the one they send to me when I don't listen to kick my butt. Okay. Always. And I looked up, I said, really? I go, Judy, I really want my card. And she goes, why? I said, I want to go see my dog and I want to go see my cat. And she said, well, they're fine and you're not needed and go away. And I woke up and it was 1:20. I still lay in bed, still couldn't move, and I was pissed. So I was cussing her out, right? And I fell asleep at some point again. And the next time I woke up, it was 6:30. But just before I woke up in that same spot, I found myself in my happy space, right? I was in the middle of the woods in a clearing, beautiful trees all around me. And I was standing in this clearing, and way, way back, far away in the trees, I see a light. And it's like a round, yellow, golden light. And it kept getting closer and closer through the trees, but it was still like the trees were in front of it, right? And when it got up to the edge of the clearing, it was bright gold to white. And there was a figure standing in the middle of it. And I'm like, okay, now what's going on? So they walk over to me they stood in front of me. They put one hand on one shoulder, one hand on the other shoulder, and leaned and put their forehead on my forehead and said, "What don't you understand? You have to allow yourself to heal." And I started crying, right? Well, it was Christ. And I'm not you know me, I'm not a holy roller.
Right.
I respect religion. I talk to Christ, Jesus Christ, all the time. I talk to Creator God. I talk to Mother Mary and Magdalene. I talk to him, and he showed up 3 other times in my life. So I'm just standing there because he's kind of like lovingly chewing me out to say, "You have to allow this to happen." And then he told me, and you have to let people know they have to allow themselves to heal. I woke up 6:30. I looked at the phone. It was 6:30. I sat up in bed and I'm like, what the hell just happened? And I'm like breathing and I'm like, what just happened? Then I realized I was sitting up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, don't move. Don't worry. Don't breathe. Oh my God, you're sitting up. Okay. I sat for about 10, 15 minutes and I slid my legs over to the side of the bed and I put them at the side of the bed, sat there for a while again because I was afraid. I was really afraid to stand up. Right. So this went on. I made it to the bathroom and then I came out and of course everybody in here was awake. So the birds were all screaming. They wanted their breakfast. Cat, she wanted her breakfast. So I fed them and then I got stuff ready for breakfast and the kids came home about 8:30. No pain. So I hear them coming in the side door and they're like, "Hey, Merry Christmas, Mom," you know, blah, blah. I go, okay, it's Merry Christmas. And they thought I was in the bedroom. And they go, "Oh my God." They thought I fell on the floor. I said, "No, I'm in the kitchen." They go, "In the kitchen?" And they walked in and they're both looking at me like,
how did that happen? Right.
I really thought I was going to wind up in the ER on Christmas Day. I honestly thought it. I thought I'd be in the hospital till
they showed you that it could be a different kind of day.
Right.
And then you let it go of trying to make it into what it wasn't and let it be what it was. I did an audio I think it was yesterday or the day before on TikTok where I said, "Are you even ready to be okay?"
You're not. You're not. It's I have no pain. I'm doing things. Oh, I have my knees, which have been always shit since I was in high school, but I have no pain. And the kids, we went in and we opened presents before we ate breakfast. And so the last present, I hadn't told them what had happened yet, right? So I just said I was okay. And they said, "We got one more gift for you." I said, "Okay." You know, they're adults. They're 30, 31, you know. So it's like, okay. So they brought me this little thing and it was wrapped up and I unwrapped it. And when I flipped it over, this is what it was. What did I tell my friend Judy? I want to see my dog and I want to see my cat.
Yep, there they are.
Then I told the kids and David just looked at me. He goes, "That's wild, Mom." I said, "You can call it what it is, but I'm not hurting." I'm crossing my legs right now. I haven't been able to do that probably since 2007.
In a lot of cases, we are our own obstacle. We get something fixed in our head of this is how it is. And until you are ready to let go of that image that you have about yourself, your life, or whatever's going on, then it will stay that way. You have to change this first.
I kept getting told, don't look 2 days down the road. Don't look a week down the road. Don't look right now. Live in the moment. Right. And just be in the moment and deal with what you need to deal with in that moment. I still have no pain, and that's my truth of what happened. I mean, my knees, I am having to get stamina back, but like I can stand, and I can stand at the kitchen sink now and do dishes, like the whole thing of dishes, and not have to sit down. Before I could do maybe 5 minutes and then I have to lay down or sit. It was totally different. so then my friend Julie, she come up and she looked at me when she walked in the door. She goes, "Oh my God." I said, "What?" She goes, "You're like standing up like straight." I grew 2 inches because everything was put back to place. So she's like, "Watch." I mean, she goes, "In the color." And you know, Lizzie Starr, she called me the day after Christmas. And she says, "So when are you going to tell me about the Christmas miracle?" I go, "Can I ever just get anything over on you?" And she looked at me, she says, "Your color looks great." And my friend said the same thing. She says, "Your face is in gray. You don't have those." I go, "Yeah, it's called pain." And people just don't get that, you know. It's
They don't. Pain changes you.
yeah, it'll change you right quick. It does. So I'm very grateful. I'm very humbled. I'm very honored that it happened to me. But everybody needs to know that they can do the same thing. We just have to allow it.
But it also, I mean, for you, this was a overnight kind of change, but it's not completely changed overnight. You still have a ways to go, and that's what people need to understand is there will be changes, but you can't expect to be Superman the next day. You can't do that.
That's
you
Superman.
Have to be gentle
Batman.
and you have to be
Batman, not Superman. Please.
You have to be kind to yourself. You have to be gentle with yourself and allow all of the healing to take place, but not settle in a mindset where you just believe that, well, my world is shit. I'm going to be sick forever, and that's the way it is. You can't do that to yourself.
I put that out the other day. I put out something. I said, if you're tired of having crap show up at your door, then shut the door and don't open it to the crap.
Right, exactly. Don't let it in.
You got to
Don't let it in. And it starts right here.
Yeah, and you do it. You know, and I'm not saying it's easy because it's not. It's not easy. It's a chore. But I think people have gotten so far away from taking care of themselves and taking care of their own health, mental health, spiritual health, physical health, because they're all worried about taking care of everybody else because that's how we were brought up. And we got to stop doing that because we got to be in a good place. And if we can get ourselves in a good place, that's how we help others.
Right,
She agrees. You tell Holly. Tell her.
Well, I think that is probably the gift that you know who gave me by going and doing what he did and leaving, because I was in that space where I had always been the caregiver, the caretaker, making everybody happy, and never looking at myself, never doing anything for me. You know, everybody else came first, and I wasn't even on the list. Then alone, last on the list, I wasn't even on that list. And it took me a little while, but eventually I started living for me. I started creating the life that fits me and being me and staying in my truth and being in my authentic self. And when that happened, anything, and I mean anything, if it was people that came into my life or it was a situation that came into my life and it didn't fit and my vibrations went, I said, oh, no, there's the door. There's the door, Buttercup. Time to go. Because my peace and my balance is invaluable, and you're not going to come in and interrupt it. You're a nice person, whatever. Love you, bye.
Time to go. Hit you on the way out. Yep.
That's right. Bye, Felicia.
People say, you know, you always sound happy when I go, well, I'm not happy 100% of the time, but it doesn't really serve me to be mean,
miserable.
It's like, why? You know, and people go, well, how do you deal with spirit coming in and out all the time with you? I go, well, you know, you kind of get used to it, and
you just deal with it.
It is what it is, you know. Sometimes
for me, I always say, well, there's a reason for everything. There's a reason why they're here, and I'm going to see if I can deal with it. If I can't, then I, you know, just politely say, look, I'm not your girl.
Go Bear.
Go see Bear.
Oh my God! Holy crap!
That's what I'm going to tell my little friends in the morning.
No! I better go place some salt at all the windows and doors.
That's not going to work. They don't care about that.
Shut up. I know. We'll send them to Christy.
There you go. She won't know what's going on.
Yeah,
she won't know what's happening.
Send them to her. That's fine. I'll even send mine to her. Oh God. Well, it's been fun. I
Yeah,
love you tons, and I think we should do it again. Maybe
totally.
let's do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do it next month again. We'll get you
Yeah,
out.
let's do it. Let's do it. What is March? I forget what I deemed March as, but it's going to be a good month too. We don't have any planets in retrograde until the end of April.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I had to go through my birthday on
Retrograde. Yes, me too.
It was a struggle. It was like a struggle. It was like, it felt like you were stuck in mud. And even if you took another step, and I remember actually having this happen to me one time, we wound up in a muddy area up in the UP, and they buried my truck wheels down to the underneath. And I got out, and when I had boots on and I put my foot in, it sucked up. When I went to pull it back up, no boot. Yeah. And that's what it felt like, though, with this past retrograde. It was bad.
The past 2 years have felt like that for me in my career aspect of my life. It has been an absolute nightmare. And finally getting to a place where, with all the guys coming out at the office of, loving the paranormal and the intuition and all that stuff, I'm like, this is definitely where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. This is where I belong. Finally.
Well, I'm glad you came on tonight, and thank everybody who listened. I'm sorry I wasn't really reading all the comments. I apologize to that. Maybe next time we'll get on and Holly can do some readings for everybody.
Yeah, we can answer some questions.
Yeah. Sound good?
Every morning on TikTok, Monday through Friday, I'm live in the mornings at around 8:30 Central Time in the mornings. And I'm usually pulling cards or doing some sort of reading. So you can see me over there.
Okay. What's your .com? Give them one of your .coms.
If you want to follow me on TikTok, You Had Me at Wolf, but it's you.had.me.at.wolf. Follow me over there. I do a lot more content over there than I do anywhere else because you get so much more engagement and reach more people. I still put everything out on Facebook and Instagram, and my website is now free to everybody. Waya's Healing Path.
TikTok. I have not done TikTok. I don't know if I'm prepared.
You gotta do TikTok. I mean, it is eye-opening. It's so much. You get so much more engagement over there. Let me just talk for 2 seconds about TikTok. When you first join, if for all of you who've not been on TikTok, if we first join, you just have to hang in there. Do some searches if you want to. It has to get to know you and what you like. If you watch a video and you scroll real quick past the video, that means you don't like it. It won't show you much more of that content. If you watch a video all the way through, it's going to show you more of that. It thinks you like it. If you heart some content, it definitely knows you like that. It will show you more of that. So it learns who you are. And once it does, your feed will be nothing but all the things that you love and enjoy to watch. The brilliance of that is it brings like-minded people together without having to pay for it. Like you have to pay for it on YouTube, you have to pay for it on Instagram, you have to pay for it on Facebook. On TikTok, the algorithm brings like-minded people together. And that is brilliant because all of us get to be in the same place together and interact with each other. And you meet more people like us.
Okay. Well, I'm not ready yet, but I'm slowly maybe getting.
You gotta go over there. Yeah, oh my gosh.
Whatever. And then also you can find her in the Wolf and the Bear Network group on Facebook as well.
Yep,
and if you want to find her and you don't want to look, just send me a text and No, I meant you don't want to go through the process. I'll just hook you guys up so that you guys know.
Yeah, if you go to my Instagram, which is Life of Waya, there's a link there that will give you all the places you can find me. It might be on my Facebook profile too, but I'm not sure.
Are the wee ones there? Yeah.
Whatever. What? No, they're not there.
All right. Well, I love you tons, and let's do this again. And thanks for everybody in the future, because a lot of people will probably watch it tomorrow from the UK. And till next time, it's Bear and Waya out. Yeah.
See ya.